know.
Yeah, let everybody in.
Let them in. I'm gonna. What up,
Man.
superstars? What up, superstars?
What up? What up?
Look at all these
What's
beautiful
up?
people.
Hey
I
everyone.
can't change my name. Damn.
Yeah.
What is it? Is
Are
it
you are you not
inappropriate
are
or
you
no?
not are you not Damien? You stole Damien's name.
I still got
Yes, he always steals my name.
That's funny.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's let people straggle in.
Uh,
Guys, as I always say, when you have people who are extremely busy show up for them as you would want your clients to show up for yourself. Turn your cameras on, be respectful. And as always, we'll drop his links in the channel or in the channel. We'll drop his links in the chat. I don't know if you guys want free brand awareness, but go post me, Serge, and Jordan on your story. We will repost it. I'll drop the links here in just a second. But we're excited. And thank you for showing up. I'll send a webcam.
awesome. All right, welcome everyone. Thanks for making time to join on this beautiful Thursday. Cool. So, we got Jordan. I'm sure most of you guys probably, who here has never heard of Jordan? Anybody in the chat?
Drop a one in the
Surprising.
chat.
That would be surprising.
Drop
Anyone
a
who's
one in
the
the
first
chat.
time?
What? Some new
What? Okay,
eyeballs?
see?
Okay.
Can we kick these guys off?
Oh, that's funny.
Yo, that's good
But
though. You got
Cool.
some new
crazy.
Yeah, no,
eyeballs.
of course.
I love it. I love how the world is big enough where there's always one or two people who still don't know you, even if you're well known in a space, right? Which is pretty crazy.
Let's do it.
But all right, cool, perfect. So to get started, Jordan, what I maybe would love from you is maybe introduce yourself, share a bit of your story, and then after that we'll just get into some Q&A.
For sure, man. Firstly, guys, it's nice to be here. Good to chat to you guys. Looking forward to getting into some stuff today. Serge, thanks for having me, and of course, the rest of the team. So I suppose I'll start from the start. My name is Jordan Platten. I own affluent.co. We're a D2C e-commerce agency. We've been doing 7 figures for a long time now. I've been in the space for about 7 years, started off as a local brick and mortar agency, paid ads, and then transitioned into D2C e-com. Got a couple of brands. Also have an education business. I've mentored thousands of other agencies. I've got a YouTube channel with about 30 million views on it. And we've got about 300,000 subscribers or so. So I've been around the block as far as kind of agencies are concerned. Yeah, know quite a depth of information around helping people scale. My passion is client acquisition. I used to do 150 cold calls every single day, a lot of door-to-door. I've been in a lot of relentless sales jobs, selling door-to-door, going 50 doors a day to real estate agents. And so, yeah, happy to help wherever I can, for full spectrum from mindset to client acquisition to service delivery, albeit I'm not a huge fan of the service side myself. I bought out one of our successful mentees very early on, Joe, who still owns part of my agency to this day, who actually manages the entire service fulfillment side. And yeah, we've managed to generate over 50 million in ROI for D2C brands as well.
Sick. One of the things that I wanted to ask you, because you just brought up the point that, one of your students ended up becoming kind of like a partner who runs one of the agencies. Have you ever thought of maybe doing more of that, like in different verticals?
Yeah, actually, as in like buying out other agencies or like having equity.
Yeah, either partnering up with them, whatever the partnership deal would look like.
Well, actually, like, to be completely frank, like I'm not too interested in taking equity from agencies because I don't think that the ceiling isn't high enough for what I want to achieve in business now. So like, but I'm doing consulting for equity in education businesses. So actually just taking 25% on an hour a week for 3 months, and it can be mine or my team's time, which is quite interesting. And so basically just helping them fulfill. I suppose you could say the model of that is what you teach inside your program. It's the system building and kind of coming in, building, coming out. Apart from I'm not building it, I'm just teaching how they can build it, and then getting out of it. But yeah, I think then it's a non-competing space as well. I'm kind of then not competing against my own education products by working with agencies.
Yeah. Okay. I love it. Yeah, that's a good move. I think I think there's a big opportunity in the education space with a lot of people who want to get it started but don't necessarily have the infrastructure. So
Yeah, especially if they're a subject matter expert, that's the key. Like, if I'd only then do that if they had big knowledge and big accolades. Because if not,
Yeah.
if you're starting from scratch, you've got a long old road ahead in that
Yeah.
in that game.
Yeah, love it, love it. Casey, you want to kind of like run the process of questions? So
Yeah.
You go ahead.
Yeah,
let you know.
everyone. So what he's gonna do, we'll just do this Q&A format. I've already had a ton of you guys reach out saying you got a ton of questions for the man himself. So drop your questions in the chat. He's gonna run through the chat, and he'll probably end up pulling you off mute if he needs more context, and you guys can kind of go back and forth. So
Yeah,
yeah, drop your cues in the chat.
It'd be really good to get an understanding. Maybe actually, if we don't, I mean, we could go from like the perspective of you guys individually, but it'd be good to get an idea of like where everyone's at right now and what everybody is doing. So, like, broadly speaking, like, do we have a variety of different agencies here? Are guys offering similar services? What kind of revenue levels are we at? Like, it'd be good to get some context on who I'm talking to.
All over. It's literally from the beginning, but then you have some guys doing over 100K a month. So you got full realm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, sweet. Nico, what's your thought process behind hiring a closer or a setter, and what attributes would they need if they don't have experience? What's your best advice you would give to your 20-year-old self just starting out? So two different questions there. So, hiring closers and setters is difficult. My general rule of thumb is avoid anyone that's come from the closer setter space in the regards to they bought into a program that promoted them to be a closer or setter, because those people have ridiculous expectations on what they can actually earn, and they're also very entitled from my experience as well. And so I never hire someone that's gone through a closer setter program, because they've just been sold this dream to buy the program that taught them how to be a closer setter in the first place. If any of you guys have one of those agencies, then I hope that's not the same for you. I find that, so where do you then find those people? That, I mean, I get outreached a lot on Instagram, so we vet everybody. Facebook groups are a good place. Facebook groups are good for setters as well. I find South Africa is actually a really great place to hire setters. You can get exceptional talent in South Africa. I think South Africa is a great hiring pool, in fact, for many different roles in the business, setters especially. Closer wise, Facebook groups, Instagram DMs, etc. But try and avoid the guys that have got unrealistic expectations. I think like the closer role at the moment is like, I don't think people realize how fortunate they are to be in a closer role. It's like every salesman's dream to be able to take an entire day of booked calls. Like, I used to have to smash phones every day just to book in 1 or 2 sales calls. So like to have like 8 calls on your calendar, like you should accept nothing other than exceptional talent who understands how good the opportunity is. The last thing, if someone, big red flags, if someone comes on a call with you is like, oh yeah, I want to get earning this amount, I want to earn this much, I want to earn that much. If they're coming in with it with just pure financial expectation and not an understanding or respect that they need to earn up to that level, then yeah, it's a bit of a red flag. So if you want any specifics on that, I can go into it. Best advice to give to 20-year-old self starting out in the online space. Resilience. If you haven't built resilience over a period of time, which most 20-year-olds haven't, then focus your efforts on things that build resilience. So be that working out in the gym, be that cold showers and shit. I think most people, and I think one of my unfair advantages, I managed to hit 10K in 90 days. And one of the reasons I was able to do that is because I had been conditioned by those cold calling jobs that I'd done in previous to experience rejection and welcome rejection and laugh at rejection. I think when you have rejection, and you guys will relate to this because you're all experienced, right? But when you have rejection through repetition over a series of months and years, it's actually, you find like, it's like the myth of Sisyphus. We just enjoy that rejection after a while. It just becomes completely normal to us, right? And that's probably the most difficult thing as a 20-year-old starting in this space, is resilience. Most people give up after a couple of weeks because they can't handle the no. Where can AI DM setter infrastructures be sold the most? To be honest, I'm not the most qualified person to answer that question. So, yeah, AI DM setter infrastructures, like I suppose lead generation agencies would be a nice place. Lead gen agencies all need that. So if we were talking about DM setters, which are setting appointments broadly, so yeah, they're probably handling the majority or large volumes of leads. maybe even additional companies like or existing companies that are running ads for themselves. So lawyers, maybe real estate, etc. Any like high volume lead flow. Can you find talented people to hire people? Especially at the start of beginning my business, can you find talented people to hire people? As in, can you hire someone to hire someone? The best hire I've ever made is a HR manager. So one of my HR manager, it's just like the hiring is just the biggest pain in the ass, as I'm sure you guys know. And so hiring a HR manager to handle that process for you is key. And if you're hiring on repeatable roles, make sure you got a recruitment funnel. And so just set up a recruitment funnel, send traffic from like LinkedIn jobs. I still find LinkedIn jobs to be the best place to find good people. Put them through a recruitment funnel process, which then goes onto a type form, and then have a HR manager do a simple two-stage interview. I'm happy to like get up SOPs and so on if you guys want me to go into anything like proper specific.
That'd be dope.
But yeah, a recruitment funnel would be the best place to weed out bad applicants. Having a closer and sending them to a program like that to learn. What about having a closer and sending them to a program? I would never send a closer to a program like that to learn more. Like I would only send a closer. The best experience for a closer is just actually jumping on calls, or it's going to be like a. I think closing experience is going to be calls, and it's going to be call reviews more than anything else. So like our sales manager would jump on, I'm sure you guys do this, but our sales manager would jump on calls every week and do call reviews. And I think that's the key to learning how to become a good salesperson. When I look back to every cold call I've ever made or every sales call I've ever had, it's that feedback that I've had from other people that are more qualified than me that allowed me to improve. So yeah. I wouldn't be hiring any closers that are at a level below being able to take a call and close at 25% plus. Like if you have to put a closer through a sales call, I mean, you just don't need to do that. There are enough talented closers out there for you to ever have to take someone on pre-training. Started running YouTube ads yesterday, 2K per week. Let's say my campaign are well built. How long should I expect it to take until my video for my video ad to at least start generating leads? How long is a piece of string, man? It depends on the whole. It depends on the whole structure of the campaign itself and exactly what are you trying to sell, and what's the price point of the product, and do you know what your revenue per booked call is? So do you know how much revenue you make as a business per booked call? So therefore, we can reverse engineer what your CAC can be, so your customer acquisition cost, and then we can.
Yeah. Javan, do you want to get on? Yeah,
Yeah.
we can mute himself and just share what you're doing on YouTube.
Yeah. So thank you, Jordan, for your advice. I was really just trying to, because I don't know much about YouTube ads. We wanted to hop on YouTube ads because I know that they're very scalable. I talked to Kenneth a couple times. He just took a look at my video, but with $2,000 a month in ad spend, I was really just looking for any advice from you, because I know you're crazy when it comes to Google ads. So I'm sure I could take some sort of value from you. Just like anything you think I should keep in mind, man. Not even really specifically when it comes to generating leads in the time frames, because of course marketing is testing. There, you can't give me a clear-cut answer. But what do you think I should keep in mind when it comes to running these campaigns?
So first of all, I have full knowledge of YouTube ads, but the guy that runs my YouTube ads runs Hormozi's ads. The guy called Tom Breeze, and so Tom Breeze is an absolute animal. He's a serious guy to learn from. And one of the best things I learned from Tom Breeze is that your organic content can actually be the best ads that you run on YouTube, full stop. So do you have an organic channel at the moment, and are you generating leads from that channel?
Yeah, so I literally just started my personal brand on YouTube around 2 months ago. I'm almost at 2,000 subscribers. I'm trying to like consistently post, get out 5 videos, 6 videos a week. And I've actually closed a couple like lower ticket deals through the channel, but for sure I'm pushing organic content hard.
Yeah, cool. So I would definitely be running some in-feed ad as well as your in-stream. I think most people focus on in-stream, but if you take that what you know to be some of your best performing YouTube videos and you run them as in-feed ads to the search keywords that people be searching for in your key. So what is your product and service? What does your agency do?
So I'm working with real estate agents, specifically listing agents. We're helping them get more listing appointments. So we're selling like AI infrastructures. It's essentially what Surge is helping us do. It's a build and release model. Price points around 10 to 12K upfront.
Cool, sweet. So yeah, I mean, so you're going to be using keywords around like scaling real estate or more real estate leads. Probably real estate leads is going to be the key. And I would probably use something like vidIQ or or along those lines to see if you can find what keyword traffic you got the most. But I'm probably presuming it would be real estate leads. And so I'd be running in-feed ads to that, and then just a simple ad format. Just you don't need to overcomplicate your ads. You just need to make sure your offer is great. So I would just be leading forward with hook, story, offer, hook probably case study, body, offer. Yeah, it's hard to go through an entire framework right now, but I just wouldn't overthink the strategy. Your existing YouTube videos that are converting well as in feeds to specific keywords, and then just make sure that you've got a great offer. The funnel is more important than the ads, to be honest.
Okay.
What are you driving traffic through to?
Yeah, so it's to a sales funnel. It's a landing page sales funnel at first. So there's a quick like 2-minute VSL, some information, and then there's just an opt-in form where we collect their information. From there, they're redirected to a main VSL page. That's like a 30-40 minute video where I'm just telling these guys, like, I'm explaining our services, basically giving them the education for free. And then of course we charge for the implementation. And then from there, from the VSL page, it's to a book a call page. And then, the leads, if they opt in, it's in our CRM. We use Go High Level, so everything's tracked from the moment they see our ad to, whatever they do. We're setting up remarketing campaigns like Google search and discovery for the guys that go on our landing page and don't actually opt in. Is there anything that I should change, add, or fix there?
No, I don't think it's fine. I mean, obviously there are a million variables that could make that not work. And
yeah, of course, yeah.
But what I would say is the most important thing with ads or outreach or anything is that you track every single data point meticulously. And I think the most important number that you could understand is what your revenue per booked call is. So like, how much money do you make for every booked call that comes into the business, regardless of whether they close or turn up? Because if you understand that metric, then you can completely understand, or even better, your cash per booked call. If you understand what your cash per booked call is, and on the front facing to break even, how much you can spend to acquire a booked call. And I think just from there, you need to be if your cost per book call is realistically going to be anywhere from $100 to $200 with your offer, like $100 to maybe $300. And so as long as it's within there and your business can be profitable at that level, then you'll just make adjustments on your funnel at various levels off the back of it. But yeah, it's hard to condense down what you essentially need from a full YouTube analysis in just a 2-minute answer. But
no, but that was beyond
revenue
value.
per booked call, cash per booked call. Find out that number, reverse engineer what you can afford to spend for a booked call, and then just optimize the ads around that.
Awesome, man. I'm on that right now. Thank you.
Cool, man. What do I pay setters? I pay setters, like, it depends. If they're phone setters, they get $1,500 base plus 5%. And if they're a DM setter, they get $1,000 base plus 5%. So it's actually a lot less than lots of people pay setters, actually.
Love it.
But it works really well. We've got 5 setters right now, and they're all very motivated and smashing numbers. Like, our phone setters do like 200 dials a day minimum. But it is on auto dialer, so it's a little bit manipulated, that data. Hired a setter, have VAs thinking I need a COO, so that's high level CSM to onboard. High level CSM is very different to a COO, but and client acquisition and client success, so I can focus on sales and being more of a CEO. What would you do? So first of all, I would never hire for a COO. One of the biggest mistakes I made early on in business is hiring people on big job titles. You never want to hire people on big job titles, because when you need to hire someone better than them, it's really hard to have that conversation. So if you're hiring someone in ops, hire an operations assistant and have them do everything you need them to do. And then if they're good enough, they get promoted to operations manager. And then down the line, I mean, see, COO is like the job role I'm holding back. I've got an operations manager and a bunch of operations assistants. But I don't know, in my gut, the COO is like that big tactical hire who's come from some massive corporate who scaled a business to 100 million plus. And I'm like, I want to bring this person in at the end of their career and offload their brain into our business. And so I don't want to give someone, first of all, we want to give someone big job titles until you just don't want to shoot yourself in the foot long term. And also it's just vanity metrics at that stage as well. If you want to find someone like that, honestly, just LinkedIn jobs. And I would be trying to find someone and always run ads when you're doing LinkedIn jobs. So just 10 or 20 pounds or dollars a day, depending on where you're from, to a type form at a minimum. And so if it's a high level role, we always create a landing page funnel, a recruitment funnel for it, which is just simply hero, simple VSL, which is just explaining the role and company culture. And then it's just the job description underneath and just apply now. Apply now goes to a type form with 3 to 5 job role specific questions, and then the rest are just like their information. And then we have one stage interview, which is personality. Next stage, which is the first stage, sorry, is skills, and then second stage is personality. But I would be hiring for operations assistant for that role that you need at the moment, or operations executive. As far as onboarding and client success, etc., you'll be surprised at how easy that is to train. Most of our CSMs have come from no experience of the industry, and really just you're hiring based on someone who's got the right the right heart and the right mentality more than anything else. Onboarding as well, it's all systemized. The most important thing when you're hiring someone in operations, you just need good SOPs in your business. So get used to. And one thing I wish I did really early on is I wish I was better at systemizing everything or documenting every process that we created in the business. So if you're using Notion or Monday or whatever, make sure that when you've created a process, you document it. And then you've got that, the step by step. So when someone else needs to take it over, you can delegate it with ease. So that's the key really for an operations person. But you want someone who's the most important thing that you want in an operations person is attention to detail. So see if you can give them a task that tests them on that. Because I found that you can't teach people attention to detail. They've either got it or they haven't. And if they're in ops and they don't have attention to detail, it's going to drive you mental. Any good Facebook groups for South African setters? No, but I hire South African setters from LinkedIn Jobs again. Like, honestly, I just think LinkedIn Jobs is such a good platform.
You're trying to sell us
the
LinkedIn.
key is in the application. Say it again.
You're trying to sell us LinkedIn Jobs.
Yeah, I've got an affiliate link. I'll drop it in a minute. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Like if we look at recruitment from the perspective of like, it doesn't really matter where the traffic is coming. Like as long as the right people on the platform, you can be driving traffic from job posts, from LinkedIn Jobs, from Facebook groups. It's the funnel which is going to make sure that you've got people, and that doesn't always have to be a landing page, but just pushing people through to a type form, and then having the 2-stage interview. Short form content and automation agency just started. Automation is the infrastructure build. Short form is creation and editing. Branding, a brand new agency starting to pump out content. Should I consider some free work for case studies, or should I just keep it rolling and wait till you close some? But honestly, I am all for free work initially, like fully for free work. Like I recommend people to do free work in general, depending on your niche. If you're in a blue ocean opportunity, then you don't have to do free work. How many people are actually in a blue ocean opportunity? Very, very few indeed. And so I think like if you can, but I think offering free work has to be done incredibly well. It doesn't. It has to be positioned as a favor on something that they don't realize they're not doing right now. It can't be, hey, I'm a content agency. Let me create your content for you for free, because they're not going to think you're very good at content unless you've got them backing it up with a bunch of content that you've already created that's actually good. I think just as a word of insight more than anything else, I get outreach because I've got the YouTube channel by at least 5 to 10 content agencies and short form content agencies every single day, and 99% of them are fucking terrible, like useless. And so all you have to be is just good to be able to sign up clients. And it's the same for thumbnail agencies. There are so many thumbnail agencies. I use over 40 thumbnail agencies this year we churned through, and we're just like, because I'm also a perfectionist, and I want things to be perfect from like a psychological perspective. But just any kind of content agency, the barrier, there's so much competition, but the quality is terrible. So bear that in mind. If you can create some really good examples of work that actually are high quality, and not just, and also I think the thing that content agencies get wrong is they think it's all about transitions and designs and looking really cool and funky, but it's not. It's all about psychology. Like anyone who's got a good brand will only care about if this thing is actually going to convert and sell. I don't care about the design ability of the content agency. I care about how much they understand psychology and whether or not that video is actually going to convert. So is the cut in at the right time when I've emphasized a specific word? Are they using B-roll to emphasize something that my words can't get across for an important matter? Not, is there a shiny little thing here and an emoji that pops up just so it looks good? So I would bear that in mind. But yes, I'm all for free work. Yeah, but so an example would be, I spoke to a web agency yesterday who who sorry, the email agency yesterday, who their entire front end funnel, and this is a multi 7-figure agency, their entire front end funnel is outreaching at mass to people that don't have DMARC set up on their email. So they run a search on whether or not they got DMARC set up on their email. They reach out to them and say, you haven't got DMARC and your SPF and everything set up. They set that up for them for free. Then they're having a conversation with them. They've added the value. They're already in then, and then they can talk about email and so on. What are you doing with email right now? They've already added that value, and it's very low. So you want to be mindful of it being like an easy thing for you to do, rather than necessarily, I don't know if you want to create like a repetition of free content. What are your thoughts on overcoming mental barriers like imposter syndrome, I guess going through metamorphosis or a paradigm shift? I think you have to have a very clear picture. So actually, by writing down exactly who you believe or perceive yourself to be right now, and then you have to get a very clear picture of who you believe or perceive yourself to want to be. And so get an idea of who you are now, who you want to be, and then just establish the habits and the routines and the things that you need to change in order to bridge that gap, just like we do with a client, right? And so if you've got imposter syndrome at the moment, it's because you're insecure about a certain area of that growth journey. And so if you write it down, you'll get better clarity on which of those areas you've got that insecurity about. Maybe it's service. Most people, it's service delivery. To be honest, it's like, am I the person? Can I actually do this? And so, and to be completely honest, it's not the thing that you want to hear. But the only way you really get that conviction and rid of imposter syndrome, if it's service delivery, is through repetition of actually doing the thing, and also accepting that you're probably going to screw up a couple of accounts before you get really good at it, and that's also okay. It's not ideal, but it's okay, and it's realistic. In the first 6 to 12 months of starting a new business, when you see a jump in success, like all of a sudden hitting 40, 50K months from 10K months, what do you think is the most important thing to ensure the revenue stays consistent? Not celebrating too much. I spent a huge amount of money when I earned. I had a really bad money perception of money. So like when I started even earning 20K a month, I thought I was baller. Like I thought I was like really doing well. So I bought an M4 on the first like 20K month that I had, and then like. And then it was like a couple of months after that, I bought a GT4, and then I bought my first Rolex, and then so like but I was very fortunate that like I still had like that salesman mentality of like always keep your pipeline full, and so I never got the complacency of not allowing your pipeline to slip. And so yeah, it's celebrate, but don't celebrate too much. And also continue investment. So I grew to where I grew to my first 100K month without investing in much education at all. Like I didn't spend any more than like $1,000. And I look back on that and I think, wow, where would I be today if I had invested from day one? And so I think also it's understanding that, okay, you've got to where you've spent money to get you where you are today, but it's actually that continual investment in your knowledge that is going to then get you from 50K to 100K, 100K to 150K. And it doesn't always have to be big pillar investments either. It doesn't have to be like I'm buying a program, I'm buying a mastermind. Sometimes it can just be very small, like just little things that I don't have a good hiring process, and you speak to a company that can provide that solution to you. I see it as like you're buying these modular expertise that allow you to just expand your knowledge. And so it's something that I'm addicted to now. So yeah, it's always that continual investment in yourself and your team. And also team, I think there's something like people overlook. So, excuse the barking dog for a minute. I think investment in team is something that's I found to be so valuable, is getting external coaches in that do external coaching. Like, so our CSM team, for example, we have an external coach that comes in two times a week, not for a program, it's personal one-to-one. And 2 times a week, they'll jump on and do all the call reviews. They will teach them a specific topic, and then like those topics are led by the CSMs. And so it's this ongoing coaching of the existing team. And so I think that is incredibly important as you get to a certain level of scale, probably 50 to 100K plus. It's like it's understanding that you as a business owner are the bottleneck as far as knowledge is concerned. And therefore, if you're the person that's responsible for teaching the team, because most people who work for a company don't have the desire to continue expanding their knowledge because they're just waiting for the company itself to drive their knowledge forward. And that doesn't often happen apart from outside of the business owner. And you're always going to be busy on the next big thing, like the visionary, the new product, the new funnel and so on. And you're not going to be thinking, you're thinking when you hire a team member, you think you've solved a problem. So you park it and you put it in a box and you're like, operations manager, done. Hiring manager, done. When actually, as a company, and as you continue to grow, their expertise or what they have to do on a day-to-day is only going to get harder and harder. And so if you're not and you can't presume that they have the ability themselves to expand their own knowledge to become the person they need to be they joined you at a 100K a month agency. Oh, cool. You can't presume that if they joined you at 100K, they can handle what it's like to be in their job role at 500K. And so continual investment in team as well is really important. Bigger shifts in thinking that resulted in the most growth, say from 20K to 50K to 100K. Performance models for sure with clients. So performance models, equity deals, and investment in team for sure. Like team is really everything after a certain point. And partnerships, strategic partnerships is a massive one. I actually think strategic partnerships, it depends on the agency, but between 50 and 100K plus. And by that, I mean partnerships with software, but most importantly, other complementary agencies that don't offer conflicting services. So if you're an ads agency, reaching out to email agencies, reaching out to web agencies and having these two-way flows of referrals, you get a couple of really good partners, and not just then accepting the first partnership you make. So if you're an ad agency and you get an email agency on side and you start working with them and you give them some referrals, you have to, just like we do with anything else, we have to reassess that. Is this email agency giving us enough referrals? If no, if we're not getting, let's say, upwards of 5 introductions a month, then let's go for another email agency. And so you treat that very seriously. And so you want to document all of those partnerships, have them listed maybe on a Notion board like we do. And then you can then, every month you can highlight how many leads you've given to them, how many leads they've given back. And then, referrals and partnerships is huge. Have you seen or sold an AI version of yourself? I've seen you've sold. Yeah, I've got ChatGPT, which is basically loaded with all of my YouTube content and so on. Actually, that in itself is a really cool low ticket product that we're launching in a couple of months, because what we're doing is, if you have access to that, it's only people inside of our program, but we're launching a front-facing version. Actually, so this is something you could probably do, man. It's all the YouTube content and it's also all of the course content, but we're going to create a public-facing version with just a small monthly fee to use it. And then and it gives you all the text and so on, and it gives you, I'll show you what it does. And then basically it will give you timestamps for every single, I won't waste time. It gives you timestamps for every single bit of context it gives you. And then you can click on it. It takes you to the relevant part of the relevant video. But if we're doing like this low ticket, then we're going to have like a big like padlock. Oh no, that's a course video. So they can see the text and it's given them an answer, but it's referenced a course video, and therefore it will create desire for that locked content behind the scene, which is quite cool.
And how are you going about building that? Do you have like some guy just collecting the data and just
I want to see it. I want to see that.
Yeah, okay, I'll show you.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
I think we all want to see it now.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Cool. So yeah, so I can make a so it's just ChatGPT, and so basically, let's say, I don't know, what's the best niche? This is the worst question in the world, right? And so it takes a little minute, well, not a whole minute, but it takes a little bit longer than you'd like it to, but it's getting there. I can make an introduction to the company. The only thing is like they're only looking to work with creators at the moment. So if you have an audience, I'm happy to make an introduction, but they haven't launched their public product at the moment. But this is completely built for me, and it was built for me for less than $1,000, which is incredible. But the UI, the CSS, I got built elsewhere again. So if we see this actually is not referenced any of the course lessons. It's referenced one YouTube video though. Whenever you click this, it will then bring up the relevant chapters in which are relevant to a niche. So here, these are all the individual ones, and we can look at that and look at the timestamp. We can click that; it will take you to the relevant part of the video. And so, let's say we're going on to something else, and it was like, I don't know, what's the meeting strategy I should use? Or you can ask more complex questions. Obviously, you can go back and forth just like you would with Chat GPT. It is powered by Chat GPT-4 anyway.
It's like an FAQ. It's like an AI FAQ.
Exactly, right. But also it's really good for internal, because my content team can use this to come up with unique content ideas as well. So it's like they can dig into the whole library of like hours and hours of content. So here we can see there's lots more references. So here's one from the actual program itself, right? And so this is just like our B2C program. And so like they can go on this and they can then look at the relevant timestamp, but then the low ticket version of this, which will be a monthly subscription, will have a padlock there. They can't watch this. There'll be a call to action. Maybe it's a book a call. Maybe they even get free lessons that they can watch. They have their limit, you know, they can only watch not even free lessons. They can only watch that specific timestamp or something, but it's a nice way to provide that free front facing value. But yeah, this all works on mobile and everything has suggestions. It's pretty cool. And it was pretty easy to set up as well. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So, but yeah, and it acted as it was actually one of my most successful front end lead magnets in the last 12 months, as far as like one of those shiny wrap up the same offer with a different front end style offers. It was like, you're going to get access to Chat GPT alongside access to the Affluent Academy, et cetera, as an email blast over the course of 7 days. It was our most successful shiny wrapper in the last 12 months. And so we really didn't have to do an awful lot to get a significant amount of leads on that same 4K product. So little things like that, which are kind of, I mean, it really doesn't, as I said, I spent under $1,000 to get that all built out, probably about another $1,000 on the CSS side, but yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I've been trying to, I'll message you. Maybe you can connect me with the person who built it. Don't shout them out on this call, because then it's gonna be a whole. Then that person.
Yeah, I won't, because they'll be pissed as well. So like, I'm happy to, if people do have an audience, I'm happy to make an introduction. And so it doesn't like they haven't got a beta, like they haven't got a front facing like product at the moment. So, but they're a great team. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love it.
Have you what are your thoughts behind creating content that nurtures followers into paying clients? It's really interesting actually, because I saw Hormozy put a post out yesterday and I was like, oh, I'm glad it's not just me. He put the post out about like not posting generic like broad content, and I think so many people fell into this trap when Iman blew up of like, oh, I need to create broad content because now Iman's making like 5 mil a month or whatever he's making. And so like I think everyone just like, so many people did that, and I did it for like maybe 3-4 months. I was creating this content about like the recession and like all this stuff, and like you're having to like start using like a teleprompter, because like I don't have a clue about the recession, so I just like downloading this, and it's just like so against like what you want to be doing, right? And like Hormozy put this post out yesterday or the other day about stopping putting out this broad content. So my advice always is it's better to have a small audience of highly engaged people that are actual fans and are actually relevant to your business than have this really broad audience of people that are never going to buy from you. Because I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like I don't want fame in any way, stretch or form. Like I'm really looking forward to the day that I eventually exit and then turn off the YouTube channel and go ghost. Like, and I'm probably sure I'll phase it out, but at some point I'm not going to be posting social media content. Like it's just, I don't want to do that for life. Like I don't know why you would want to. I want to be out on my kayak on the river somewhere chilling, knowing I've got 100 mil in the bank. But listen, I think like creating content is the key is over delivery and value. I think the marketplace is completely different to what it used to be, like even like 5 years ago. So it's over delivery and value on the front end, but also learning the art of explaining incredibly difficult concepts in an incredibly simple way. Because what you know to be true and what you understand don't presume that because you understand something in its entirety, you're also going to be able to help other people understand it in its entirety. So many of you guys are going to be like B2B agencies, right? Or B2B consultants or growth operators, whatever you call yourself. And so be mindful of your journey to understanding what you're doing right now, and then put out content that relates to that. And so Miro boards are good, Notion boards are good, documenting. I think it's quite nice to, like, in my style of content, people really quite like you building something out with them on a video. I try and avoid, broadly speaking, anything that's too pre-planned. And so, yeah, just over delivery on value. I've got a really good content ideation system, which in essence is, and this is work for anyone, take your ICP, so your ideal customer, and break down the areas or the pain points or the areas of consideration in relation to your service. So let's say I'm use myself as an example in the education business. So we have new start agency owners. What do they need to consider? They need foundations. They need mindset. They need foundations, which includes mindset. They need lead generation, client sales. They need operations, service delivery. Okay, then what are the subsections within each of those? So within foundations, there's mindset, there's establishing their company, etc. Client acquisition, there's lead generation, there's outreach, etc. So you break those down, and then for each of those subcategories, so let's say we've got 6 to 10 main categories. Within those, we have 3 to 5 subcategories. Generate, and you can do this through ChatGPT or through Claude. If you're not onto Claude yet, like I'm sure you are, there's many AI people here, like Claude is just obviously so much better for the copywriting side. Get into Claude. Okay, ask it. Okay, so what are the 10 most frequently asked questions for, and then this subsection in relation to this? What are the 10 most common objections for this? And what are the 10 biggest pain points for this? And then you do that across every single subsection. You're going to have like 800 plus content ideas that you can use across the business. So it's just a really easy way. And what we do is subject matter experts inside of the company. Every day we've got different people, like our operations manager or content manager, etc. They're assigned individual topics, and every day they go into that content system and they write down all the knowledge they have surrounding one of those frequently asked questions, one of those pain points, and one of those limiting beliefs, and then over time that creates this wealth of knowledge so that any content creator can come into and tap into. I want to create a video, I want to create a tweet about cold calling. Okay, cool, let me tap into this. Cool, I've got that, and then I've got this offload a bit of information. So you create this library of information that other people can leverage in the company. So, and obviously then it's unique information and not just taken from AI and everything. And I think that's the key to content as well, is people want to see unique thoughts. They don't want to see generic knowledge. They want to see how your personal opinion impacts the nuances of that niche. So yeah, I think, like, obviously, like, many of you guys into AI, like, lean into AI, sure, but like the biggest crime of using AI in its entirety is the loss of individual thought. And I think that's a danger that all creators are at the moment, is like the loss of their own ability to come up with their own unique ideas. So, okay. What's the best way to find good closers in the UK on a commission only basis? Any tips on hiring your first closer? I think I kind of covered that. So yeah, I would say just Facebook groups, really. And yeah, Facebook groups, LinkedIn jobs. There's so many. There's an abundance. There are so many more qualified closers than there are qualified closer jobs, like good jobs for closers. So if you're struggling to hire closers, like, I would just maybe you create a recruitment funnel or something along those lines. But yeah, it shouldn't be a difficult role to hire for. Or sure. For the education consulting partnership, which option would you prefer? Partnering with someone who has extensive expertise and experience but no presence on social media, or partnering with someone who has a okay amount of knowledge but already has a large social media following? I would rather, number one, I would rather someone that doesn't have presence on social, because whilst organic is the holy grail, right, and it always helps our profit margin, you can always grow organic. And so if they've got expertise, we can more likely come up with a better offer. And more importantly than the better offer, we can come up with the best product. I think so everyone prioritizes offers and front end and perception, whereas and that gets you the initial sales, but really the most important thing of all is product. And so if the person has the great expertise, they've got the capacity to create good product, and therefore they're going to keep people, and then obviously people will refer, and you'll grow horizontally. So I would much rather someone with expertise. How would you structure bringing on a technical co-founder? What would be the split be? How would you suggest your approach of bringing on a co-founder? It would depend on what revenue level you are at and how much. It's all about leverage, right? Like if you're just starting out, you have no leverage, and therefore you're probably going to give 50%. If you're already established and you're making $1 million a month or 500K a month or whatever, then you've got a huge amount more leverage, and therefore there's no the thing. And I found this difficult when hiring co-founders. So we actually just took on 6 strategic partners for a 10% shared equity pool. They're all ex members, I'll say ex, but because they don't work with us anymore, but ex kind of community members. So people that we took from like zero, and at the best 800K a month one of these agencies is doing. They actually just acquired another agency, so like huge agencies, and we've just taken them on a 10% shared equity pool to become senior leaders inside our program, do some coaching, contribute to training and everything. But like you never get taught this stuff, right? You never get taught what the ideal amount of equity is that you should give to someone. And so in an ideal world, you offer as little as you can get away with, right? But it's all dependent on the leverage that you have. If you're already at 100K a month and you're bringing on a co-founder, there's no reason why you should be bringing someone on for more than 10% of the business unless they have a significant amount of knowledge leverage. You know, like they might have the information, they might have just come out or exited out of another opportunity that means they can help you scale much further. So yeah. And I also think finding those people is very gradual. I don't think you just bring on a technical co-founder. I think your technical co-founder is one of the guys that works in your team already that has the most promise. I think it's very difficult to bring on those big pillar hires, because bringing on a co-founder there's so much risk involved. Like you're in bed with that person, like you're stuck with them. So making a generic or general marketing content for general marketing agency offer, you get more volume than niching down. When making general marketing content for a general marketing agency offer, you get more volume than niching down. What's general? What defines as general marketing? But niching down, you get a higher conversion rate. Everyone preaches, okay, you mean like general niches, like broad niche, scattergun, or niching down. Everyone preaches niching down, but is it possible to succeed with a general marketing offer? Yes, if your niche, your service is niche. So like you can have a general client base, you can have a broad audience, but your service has to be niche. So you're either niche ICP or your niche service delivery or niche offer. So yeah, you can't be general offer, general service, because you can't stand out. Like there's no reason for someone to go with you than go with everyone else. And you see that in these big conglomerate agencies. And so you're like, oh, Ogilvy are general, right? But then they've been around for like 80 years, you know, probably longer. And so yeah, don't compare yourself to companies like that. I actually think, sorry, I just want to speak.
No, you're good. He wanted to come off mute. I didn't know if he was going to go into.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's so yeah, the service is the short form content and the automation. But we're in Toronto, so we're definitely just in that local area. And we haven't niched down exactly to like, real estate or restaurants or hospitality. We haven't decided that yet. And I don't know if we should, or if small business owner in Toronto that needs content created is a good enough, right?
So you're starting local?
For the content creation aspect, yeah, because we're gonna go and film stuff, yeah.
So I actually recommend I actually prefer, and I think that it's more advantageous if you're starting local to be scattergun. So to work with multiple niches in your locality, because you can leverage the fact that you're local, and that's an in, you know, and you have no in or no leverage apart from the fact that you're local. And people like working with local. Like my first 6 clients were just local businesses, but it was a restaurant, it was a gym, it was a dentist, it was a furniture store, it was this. And then over time, I then got to decide which of those niches I enjoyed working with the most. And then it was a gradual process in which you kind of get to making a decision on where you want to go. But I think, yeah, so I think if you're starting local, you can absolutely be scattergun, but like as long as your service is specific. But I wouldn't get caught into the trap of having too many services. Like anything more than like 2 services initially is going to be like painful for you, especially across multiple niches. Like you're going to be running multiple agencies under one roof. So yeah, hopefully that helps.
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Cool, man. I think I just skipped down a bunch. I think did I skip loads of people earlier? I don't know. Okay. Where are we at? When making, okay, you can raise your hand and unmute yourself. Okay, cool. All good. You can raise your hand and unmute yourself, but when asking a question, if you need to give more context behind the question, yeah, cool. Yeah, feel free to, if I'm answering your question and you feel like I'm not understanding your question, feel free to unmute yourself. Happy to chat. Like obviously it's easier and better. Can you give examples of some blue ocean opportunities? That's as good as a what is the best niche question, bro. As much as I would love to, that's just like that's an impossible to answer question. It's actually the blue ocean opportunities are the ones that are you have to do your own research to identify those opportunities. Like, and if you're going local, then I would just look at like where there's the fewest amount of other agencies that are competing over the same service. 1000% I resonate with the service delivery aspect. What's your approach with client success and management when it comes to running a more traditional SMMA with a high volume amount of clients and lower retainer? Bi-weekly reports, running a cold email agency for local businesses need to start building systems and managing 20 plus clients.
Good question. I like that.
So we've managed a large number of clients. I think at a peak, we've had like 60 e-com clients. Bear in mind, average client value is probably around 5 to 10K a month. And now our client base is actually lower than that. And in fact, actually, we use the agency more so as an incubator for e-commerce brands, as well as we still maintain a number of clients about 150K a month revenue. But actually, we don't have the desire to scale that business out. We make more revenue in other business models at the moment. I think the agency business model is a really great entry-level business model. It's like a gateway into business, and then you unlock other opportunities like brands and equity and so on, and software, etc. But at the moment, average client, I would say, is about 10K value. And the way that we manage that service, there's no strict strategy to reporting, first of all. So each client has individual expectations and responsibilities. So most clients at a minimum, we try and send over a monthly report, which is just simply, we have our own internal tracking database. So let me just show you one of these actually, so you can, I'm actually happy to share this with you guys if I can, because I was going to come to you guys with like some specific training.
You got some freebies for us, man? You got some gifts?
A freebie for you.
We take some gifts over here, dude.
I was gonna come to you guys with some resources, but I didn't have the time. So I'm going to let me send you a reporting document. So this, I'll make a copy, and so then you've got this.
You're the bomb. Thank you, bro.
And so let me share my screen, and you can get a look at this. So this is what we do, and this is like ads, but obviously this will give you inspiration for how you can do this in email. You could be doing the same thing. So what we do is, so this is like a marketing efficiency summary. So what we do is we set targets. So we'll have the target ad spend, like actual, and the amount of leads generated, qualified. And you can use this for your own agency as well, for your own ad tracking, like internally. So conversion value, cost per lead, etc. And then actual, and then like the percentage of completion. Then we have daily track. So what we have on individually is like we have, what's going on here? Why is this not expanding? I might be on the wrong version right now. Use the plus icon. What's going on? I think I might have I'll send you over the right one. This should be expanding so we can actually have a look at the individual. Yeah, okay. I'll send you over another one. This expands, and so you can see the individual days, and we're breaking down, let's say in January, the individual days, and all you're going to do on a daily basis is you're going to put in your ad spend and the amount of leads you've generated, for example, and then the rest of the metrics will establish itself. This will also then automatically update this data on the front end. And then if someone can remind me after this as well, make sure I get this sent over, because I don't want to send you this version with the wrong thing. Leads then are all pasted on here as well. So individual leads, the contact details, lead quality, if they're qualified, lead quality, the revenue level. When you've sent the first message, maybe you've got like automation set up, lead status, call taken, call outcome, etc. Creative reports. So these all expand like this. So creative reports. So individual creatives that you're running, if you want to create individual creatives and you have them on a creative tracker, so you might have like an individual, like a creative code that you've got, maybe it's a theme, whether it's launched, if it's profitable, and so on and so forth. And there's like a little key on the other side. And so then you can track, it will automatically update. So you can then track the individual metrics of that, or the data of the individual creative. And then we have a landing page tracker as well. So we did the same thing. You can track the results of an individual landing page, and then the same thing for copy. So we create a code there as well. So each client gets access to this, so they at any one time can have a look at what their metrics look like live. So our media buyers and our creative strategists that we also have to update this sheet every single day. The most important one being the daily track sheet. And so if they update that daily, it updates these metrics, and the client can get access to live reporting at any one time. And I think that's probably the most important thing, is that clients have access to some kind of live reporting whenever they need it, rather than them having to ask you for specific reporting. And so, yeah, if you're on email, you could probably translate the data from Klaviyo, which I'm sure is what you're using, nice and easily. So yeah, replicate that. Yeah, I'll make sure I get over that document with the.
Thank you, brother. Hey, by the way, not to cut you off, I don't know how long, if you can go over or not, but we want to respect your time. You have all the power. Whenever you need to take the last 1 or 2 questions, you just say so and we'll wrap up.
Yeah, you're good, man. We'll call it where we are now, and I'll answer everyone's questions. So I'm happy to do that with everyone who's already got something in the chat. So
cool.
For sure, that's all good. Yeah, make sure I'll probably forget about that resource. So send me a message after, and I'll make sure I'll get that over to you. I don't want to just send something that isn't working. Cool. So what's your approach to creating YouTube content? How do you find content ideas that are worth filming? So I think I answered that with the content idea framework thing, but also, like, I think many people with YouTube, one barrier that people have when creating content is like they think that once they've created a piece of content once, they can't create it again. Whereas like every year you've got like free reign to go through and re-record all of your best performing videos. So anything that you've recorded previously that did well, the year later, just go through and record it again, just make sure it's updated and it's better in some way, shape or form. And so, yeah, I think the most important thing as well is understanding obviously what your ICP's pain points are, and just writing down all of those potential questions that they've got, and then obviously doing keyword research and so on. And so, yeah, outside of that, people love seeing you doing the thing. So I've done a series where I started a new agency from scratch, and then documented the process of signing up the first few clients and going out and cold calling. People love that. They got like a couple of million views. So any time that you can actually do the thing, then you're going to gain a lot more traction as well, rather than just talking about this thing. So if you're talking about AI chatbots, it's like that's why Liam Otley's done so well, right? Liam's showing people how to, like, he's going through the process. He's not just like theory about the chatbot. Okay, what mentor / program would you recommend to look into grow a YouTube channel? You know, I don't really know many people that have got, apart from Ali Abdaal. I think Ali Abdaal's the only person who's got a YouTube program. I haven't gone through it myself, but I think there's Ali Abdaal, and there's also the dude that like reviews YouTube growth. Like I've forgotten, he just did YouTube videos, and he just literally just how this person grew their channel to, who's that guy? That's going to bug me.
Yeah, I don't know who you're talking about.
A Patrick something?
Does anyone know in the chat?
He's seriously
Matt
good.
Matt Diavello?
No. It's
the chat.
I'm pretty sure his name's like Patrick, but this is a guide to follow. It would be good for you to look at that to understand. Yeah, okay.
Someone said, is it from Film Booth?
Called what?
Film Booth? Is it someone from there?
Paddy Galloway.
Oh,
That's who it is. This guy, I'm gonna send it in the chat. This guy's got a program as well. Albeit, like, I think he's like, it's like, I want to say that he only takes on existing channels, but I think he's probably got a bunch. But his content is really worth watching. He like analyzes how people have blown up their content.
Ooh.
Okay. What are your thoughts on how much you should spend compared to how much you have / make per month, for example, financing cars or mortgage, even if you can afford it? It depends. Like I wouldn't. You want to be able to afford it and some. Like I wouldn't even really be thinking if you can afford like. It's hard. I don't know. I'm not a really good person to answer that, considering I bought all the cars and shit that I had like when I couldn't really like. Well, I could afford to, but when it was just like a big risk. Whereas like these days, I'm incredibly conservative. And then like this really weird financial thing, whereas every extra million that I make in the bank becomes a new benchmark for how much money I've got. So basically anything above that is like the only money I can spend. And then it's like I'm broke with anything. So I'm like, I don't want to touch anything else in the bank, but which is just crazy, right? And so it's like, oh, if I've got 3 million and 200,000, whatever, I've actually only got 200,000. So like, I think like setting benchmarks for how much money you want to have that's going to make you feel secure, which should be based around how your expenses in the business. So you want like a minimum of 6 to 12 months. If you can have 12 months expenses in the business, so if everything went to shit for 12 months, you could pay everyone and be chilling, then that's a nice place to be. So I think that should be the goal for most people, is like 6 to 12 months of company expenses in the business account, and then anything on top of that, splash around like as you like. Yeah, but it's difficult. Like if you've got that burning hunger to go and buy something, then my general ethos is just go and buy it, because like you'll learn the lesson from it. And I can tell you, hey, don't buy the car. But then because when you buy the car, you'll be bored of it in a couple of months. But no one can tell you that until you actually do it yourself. And like you kind of, if you've got that burning hunger to do it, you should probably just do it and take the lesson. And then, and then you'll be like, oh shit, I'm gonna save now. I'm gonna chill. Like I haven't bought anything particularly extravagant apart from watches in a long time, and only watches because like I know they're safe for me to sit in as well. So I think after you do that through enough repetition, you buy some shit and you realize it doesn't really fulfill you massively, then I think everyone has to have that lesson as well. I think most people need that. I don't agree with not spending your money because I think you have to. I think actually it's in contrast, it's probably better to spend your money as long as you've got, again, that financial security in the business, you're not killing the business. It's probably to spend money early and get that out of your system. So when you need money later down the line for real big scale and so on, like investing in other products, investing in service, investing in mentorship, investing in like software or whatever, then you're out of the mentality of like buying anything too personal and it's like too large. And so you can then just really focus your financial efforts on gaining. But yeah.
I love that. I always tell people there's no point in being in this game if you're not going to like reap the rewards, like enjoy yourself a little bit. Go on trips and stuff. Come on.
100%. It's if you don't have the contingency plan, it's like you have to establish, okay, if I buy this car, am I putting myself out? If yes, okay, do I have the contingency plan that will allow me to continue making money? Or if I don't continue making money, is there a backup, and then you just have to weigh up that risk. But yeah, I'm definitely all for people spending their money.
Love it.
Especially whilst you got age on your side as well. Do you have HR company, good HR company to share need setters and so on? No, unfortunately not. All my HR is internal now. Yeah, but I've never had to work with a recruitment agent. I don't think you have to do that. Like you just need to LinkedIn jobs. That's all you need, baby. That's all you need.
We're all gonna be on LinkedIn jobs after this call, bro.
Come on. Yeah, that's all you need. Any advice I'll put out a course on hiring. It will just be one video.
That's what everyone needs right now.
That's all it is. It would just be a link to LinkedIn/jobs. That's all. 997. Any advice for finding media buyers with specific case studies in a niche? Been on Upwork, LinkedIn jobs, Facebook for weeks. Still haven't found anyone really impressive case studies in a niche I need to leverage. Depends how much you want to pay, Steve. What are you trying to pay? What are you offering these media buyers? Let me know. Either unmute yourself or let me know in the chat.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just eating right now, but basically I'm not even leading with the money first. Like I'm just trying to find applicants, and then probably 500 a month.
Oh, but you're not putting, you haven't put the money on the job post.
No.
That's your problem.
No.
Yeah. Good media buyers stay where they are. Good media buyers either own an agency or they stay where they are because they get subsidized well. So and we've hired a lot of media buyers. You have to put the money. And like it needs to if you want to get someone good and specialist in a niche, it needs to be 3K a month minimum.
Okay, got it.
So if you're wanting someone specialist in a certain niche, like we actually prefer to hire media buyers who are like, if we're talking on like a scale, 0 being like a complete start their journey, 100 being like they're a seasoned pro, we like to hire them around 30%. And then we just, when we train and then we get them in through, the most important thing is 2 times a week, what we call ads chats, where you go through, let's say you're an ad agency, you go through and hire them, and you can do this for yourself if it's even for your own ads media buyer. You go, let's say it's a Monday and a Friday, or I think we do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you go through and you review every single ad account with every single media buyer, and you open the floor for everyone to critique it. But then you also basically everyone on the call critiques everything. So it's organized micromanagement essentially, but it acts as an ongoing training session that you can expedite someone's growth path from a shit media buyer or an average media buyer to a great media buyer very quickly. I think that is the key with those people, media buyers. You have to spend a lot of time with them on a regular schedule, so they know, and they also need the pressure that from Monday to Wednesday they've got to come to you with something that's changed. So yeah, which is not what people want to do, but it's what you have to do. And obviously, like then you put a head media buyer or a CMO who takes those calls on your behalf, and you don't join them anymore. I haven't been on one of those calls in like 3 years.
Got it. Thanks, man.
No worries, man. Top 3 most valuable books or pieces of content you've consumed. Good question. I don't know. What is that? The most valuable book that I've read in the last 12 months is a book called The Road Less Stupid. And it's I don't know if you've read has anyone read that out of interest? Can I see like someone put their hand up if anyone's read that?
I haven't.
Okay, that's going to be a good value add then. Like The Road Less Stupid, it's called like Notes from the Chair of the Board or something. Every chapter is a different lesson, and it's like it's about a chairman, like a 9-figure chairman, who and every single chapter is a lesson that he learned over the course of his career. And the concept that I really love from it is a concept called thinking time. And at the end of every chapter, he introduces or gives you the ability and a series of questions that you can ask yourself about your business related to the topic that you just learned about. And the concept of thinking time is that every day you spend an hour in your calendar and you dedicate that time just to thinking. You have nothing around you. You just have a series of questions written down to you on a piece of paper. And you just look at those questions and you think. And if you do that through repetition every day with all the major problems that you're facing, you just end up solving them. And so it's a really, really great book. There's no one particular program that completely changed the game for me. But I think probably an accumulation of different masterminds, for sure. I think the mastermind environment is the single best environment that you can put yourself in. Like, I don't think that I will ever be in a place in my life and in my career where I will not be in at least one mastermind at any one time. I will always be in a mastermind and endeavor to go to a mastermind event every single quarter for the rest of my career. And then that will change based on what I'm trying to learn in that period. I think it's hard to maintain more than one mastermind, so one event a quarter. It actually feels like a really nice period of time to come round to. One of the first mastermind I joined was Quantum by Sam Ovens. That was exceptional. And I mean, he doesn't even have it anymore, so it's not even a case study. But like 1 month after joining that mastermind, I doubled my revenue, and it was only through one small change that took me 15 minutes to implement, and that was just quadrupling my prices and just getting through a mental barrier.
You're on a podcast just talking about that recently. You're
Yeah,
like, it was a limiting belief. I didn't think I was going to be able to do it.
Yeah, I was at 997 on this education product, and he was like, "You're an idiot." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Why are you at 997?" He said, "You offer one-to-one coaching on a 997 product. You're an idiot." I was like, "Okay, well, what should I price it at?" He was like, 3.8. And I was like, "All right, okay." And I just kind of went away, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And then I told the sales team we're going to do it next month, double revenue, and it just maintained consistent since then, and obviously just grown. So cool. And then since then, I mean, at the moment, I'm part of a mastermind with a guy called John Penderfee. It's in the UK. It's in person. Again, exceptional. And they're all different business owners. None of them competing businesses. There's the average revenue in the room is 3 million a month, and so there's so much to learn in those environments. So masterminds for sure. Great environment. So if you guys get offered one from Serge or this community, you should do it like 100%, like all day long. It's just such a great thing for you to do. Like being in person. I have my own, and we went to Tulum last year, and we had like 30 agencies, and just like it's like you give this, in many cases you hear the same information that you've heard before. But when you're in person and there's that context and you're having dinner with someone, or maybe it's a late night chat and maybe you've had a couple of beers or something like that, and you're just like, you're getting granular with it and you're really geeking out with people to understand you. It's like then the information clicks in a different level of context that you didn't get before because you're on a Zoom call and there's that kind of bit of energy that you can't really translate. All of you guys are sat there behind your computer in your own worlds right now. When you come off this call, you're back into your own world. You kind of forget about everything that's been discussed. When you're in a mastermind, you lock eyes with that guy over dinner or the next night, and you're like, "Oh shit, I just remembered that conversation I had with him." And then you dive a little bit deeper into it, and then you're just sat in that energy for a period of time. The key is in any mastermind, if you do go to one, and if you've ever been to one, is make sure you book like at least 1 to 2 nights afterwards, somewhere to be secluded alone afterwards. So you basically, the worst thing you can do is come out of that experience and you have this massive list of notes. And the key is obviously making sure you decipher that information and ensure you're only implementing the stuff that's relevant to you. That's the hard part. Like first event you go to, you're going to have this massive list of things you're going to implement, and not half of it won't be relevant to your business, but you're going to convince yourself that you need all these funnels that you don't need. So you have to get good at deciphering the information, create an action plan, and then you need to spend 1 to 2 days, ideally 2 days, where you just sit alone or with your business partner and you just create a plan for how you're going to implement. Because if you go back home and you start speaking to the team again, all your priorities shifts and it's an absolute mess. So yeah.
Love that.
Mastermind for sure. Yeah. Because as you get more progressive in business as well, you have less and less time to be able to sit and absorb a course and like material, and whether that's written or videos or whatever it looks like the further and further, like you just get less and less desire to consume that kind of content, and therefore in person it just fits, it works. And also, it's great just to be there to like learn how to facilitate that in your own. Like if you can have in-person products for your own service, even if it's like you can find a way to make it work, even if you're not in education, like in-person products, they always sell exceptionally well and they just feel good. Like it feels like every time you host an event like that, it's like the pinnacle moment of your career so far. It's like, these are my people, and this is, and you're there and you're in the energy of it. And it's a different thing. I can't recommend it enough. You get the idea. What are your thoughts on how much you spend compared to how much you have? Oh, I already did that. What am I doing? Is there a way you could send who built it? Oh yeah, that's for the bot. That's all good. In the education space, what's the biggest differentiator you see between super valuable products and products that lack value and are just packaged up nicely? What are the main drivers of value? Great question, Max. So I think the key is coaching. So I think information is I think everyone's got information. If they want to look for it, everyone can find the information. The key is a really good coaching element attached, I think. It's also that the person who teaches is actually doing the thing. That's like, sounds obvious, but like 95% of programs, the person that runs it doesn't do the thing that they teach. And so you could say, well, why does it matter if it gets results? It matters because you might get results now, but you're not in the real world getting first-hand knowledge of what is actually changing in the space. And so if you're doing it yourself, you understand it before everyone else understands. So like if something happens in the agency space, I know it, so I can teach it straight away. And so that's a key. And also just, yeah, I think it's a repeatable process that is bespoke for the individual. So like there are so many programs that promise, let's say, a specific result, the most common being an X amount of appointments per month, right? And that's all well and good, but like there are so many variables that come into play in promising X amount of appointments per month, which mean that promising X appointments a month is kind of redundant because you end up dequalifying 90% of the people, right? And so like, I actually am a big believer. I think we're coming full circle with guarantees. I think that actually an anti-guarantee will be something that sells incredibly well, like right now and in the future. And actually I'm going to test it myself on a new offer I'm launching in a couple of weeks. I think that your product being exceptional in itself and the product being bespoke for the individual and speaking to their pain points will be enough, is more than enough to sell a product. I think actually the kind of person that buys, I know from my personal, in our B2C, we've got a guarantee. People that buy just for the guarantee are fucking nightmares. They are so hard to work with because everything that they're doing is around the guarantee to the detriment of their own success. So they'll be doing everything to follow this guarantee terms and conditions so perfectly that it might not even be the right thing that makes sense for them in their business. So despite the advice that we're giving them, it's just like, no, I'm just so obsessed over this thing. And then they're obsessed. And they don't do anything else. And then even more, they'll do exactly the amount they need to do for the guarantee and not all the additional that they could be doing because they put themselves in this box. So I think that's to be considered. I think holistic solutions, but delivered in a way that's unique to the individual because everybody is coming from a unique set of circumstances. So
just a little follow-up.
Yeah.
When you say bespoke to the individual, are you talking about like the coach and the coach has his own unique process that's worked for him? Or do you mean bespoke for the ideal client avatar?
Okay. So an example. So we have a program. We take on existing agencies who are already at a certain revenue level. Broadly speaking, they want to hit a macro goal of 100K plus per month. But to get to that point, it's going to take a number of different things depending on that individual. I can't just say, Max, you need to launch an email campaign. You need to have a good funnel. You need to have this. You need to have that. Because your ICP might not relate to email. Your a VSL funnel might not be right for you. A straight sell might be better. You might need etc. You get the idea. And so and also I don't know where you're at right now. So instead, I'm going to track all of your data for 2 weeks, get a deep understanding of what your business is actually doing right now, fully understand it, just like I would an ad account. If I started working with a client and for my agency, I'm going to analyze their ad account, understand everything they've done historically, and understand everything that's brought them up to this point right now. Then the changes that I make for them are going to be based on that unique set of circumstances. I'm not going to take over an e-commerce brand and start running the same ads as I run for every e-commerce brand. I'm not going to run the same campaign structure. I'm not going to run the same bidding strategy, etc. It's all going to be unique to their individual set of circumstances. So I think there's a presumption in the space that client acquisition is linear in the sense that anybody can adopt the same strategies and the same funnels and get the same result, whereas that isn't true because your CAC or your client acquisition cost can be more than someone else's. Your amount of money that you can afford to spend per booked call is different to someone else's. Your positive response rate is different to someone else's. Even your personal brand and the way that influences things is going to impact the way that your positive response rate and so on. So you actually just need to look at the data and see what's happening right now. And then you can, as a course creator, you can create a product that caters to all scenarios, but you can then prescribe a specific roadmap or solution to that individual based on their individual circumstances, you know? So you can still create a product that's holistic, but instead of force feeding everybody through the same process, you only put them through a roadmap that relates to them specifically. Does that make sense?
Yeah, a lot. Thank you so much.
No worries, man. But I do think if you're doing that, it is important to still provide the baseline of the training has to be the whole holistic solution. And then you basically, you can dip into, so the option is still there. Because there's nothing more frustrating as a business owner, and I've been in that position, to be sold a solution on a problem. And then it's that whole typical sell them what they like. The presumption is sell them what they want, give them what they need. But actually, you don't need the shit they think you need. And then you're just frustrated because you're being forced through a process. You're the square trying to fit through the circle slot, you know. And so I think that's to be considered. I think people want bespoke. I know people want bespoke solutions. So yeah, I think that's going to be increasingly
basically just
more
adding
important.
a personalized approach to it, where it's not just like coaching or something like this. It's like we're taking your situation and giving you the exact roadmap for your situation.
Yes, you need a mechanism for identifying what that roadmap needs to be. So my mechanism is I've got a bespoke software and I can track people's data, and then I can understand where the specific leverage points are. And then off the back of that, you can create an algorithm for your team, which is essentially like a simple, like with AI or any tool, it's an if this then that algorithm. So identification of problems, and then have a specific, maybe it's metrics. Normally metrics is the easiest thing if we're working with business owners. And then it's some kind of if this then that, or algorithm that says if this is below this, then do this. If this is above this, but this is true, then do this. And you just create that flow on a Miro. So your CSM team or whoever, they'd be stupid not to be able to follow it. And you just take people through that. And then that specific solution, wherever it lands, there has to be a specific bit of training that then can take them through that process. And so instead of, so it's an identification of problem through probably metrics, and then it's creating your own algorithm that allows you to then diagnose said problem, and it allows an idiot to diagnose said problem. That's the key. It's like it can't be you that has to diagnose it. You have to create your own internal algorithm that allows other people like CSMs implement it themselves. Not saying all CSMs are idiots. That would be stupid. I mean, just like you cannot ever overlook what other people may overlook. So yeah. Out of interest, are many of you guys, are most of you guys B2B service providers, or are there educators? Like, are some of you guys like education, like you have like education programs, like more on the info? I suppose it's like a hybrid, right? But more, would any of you, like a show of hands, say you are more on the info side than you are the service side? Okay, interesting. All right, fine. And then the rest of you, are you hybrid info agency, or would you say that you're just agency, like just hybrid? Can I get a show of hands? Okay, and then the rest of you are just service agencies, right? Or are you just like keeping your hands down? Okay, right. All right, cool. Thank you. Makes sense.
Hey, do you mind if I touch on that real quick? What you were talking about with the how to differentiate yourselves. So
yeah, for sure.
How would you position that in your ads or your offer to even get in that position where you can provide your service holistically, if that makes sense?
You promise the big bold result, so whatever that big vision result is, so it's legitimately selling what they want and giving what they need. So the hook is still going to be the big bold promise, and that's normally going to be revenue increase or time saved. So that's how you're going to get people in, and then when they jump on the sales call, at that stage it needs to be very evident that it's a bespoke solution. So they're enticed by big bold promise. They're sold on bespoke solution.
Yep, yeah. Awesome. Makes sense. Thank you, man.
Cool. No worries. So this is the same thing applies for service providers. Like it's the same thing. We always want to productize our services, but it's the same thing. We sell the promise. We then implement something a lot more bespoke. Yeah. Okay. I think this is the final one.
Yeah, last one. I got a call to hop to too, so this is perfect.
Yeah, cool. We're an agency in the insurance niche right now. We realize our ads are fatiguing fast in our local market. 50,000 in French Canada. Would you go international and stay in insurance niche, or stay local but go multi-offer? Malcolm, how much proof of concept do you have? What revenue are you making right now?
Yeah, we're around 30K right now. We do have some proof of concept, and we have client wins. It's just hard to, we're always doing more ads because it burns so fast.
Yeah, definitely go international. What stopped you from doing that so far?
It's just that we built everything in French until now, and it will be like, like building everything again in English, which we could do.
Right.
It's just like another later to, I guess, step to climb.
Yeah, it is, but it's not. It's probably not as complex as you think. It's as long as you can actually speak like and write English well, like it's not going to be a problem outside that. As long as your team can fulfill in English.
Yeah, that's no problem. Of course, I'm more comfortable in French, but I think I can adapt. That's no problem.
Yeah. It's so it's there's a subsector of there's a whole demographic in Canada that just speak French.
Yeah, I didn't know that
Yeah,
either.
there's a whole province that's just
there's a little section in Canada where they all
Really?
speak French. I
Wait,
did
so
not know
what? So
that.
can you branch out in France?
I could, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously the first step. That's the
Yeah.
logical path.
Yeah.
Why haven't you done that?
That's a good idea, yeah.
Yeah. Is there a rivalry between the French and the French Canadians? Like probably knowing the actual French.
I think I don't think there's that much of that now, but maybe in the past. There's actually a lot of French people are immigrating to Canada currently.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, but I guess if you had to, like, apart from the obvious idea of expanding to France, if you had to choose between going English and international but multi-niche in Quebec, like, is there, like, how would you go about choosing it?
So here's the thing. You can build $1 million a month business with a 50,000 person lead pool. Like, so here's an example. You can look at this lady called Sally Lawson. She's a friend. She owns a business that only operates and only sells to letting agents in the UK. So that's all she sells to. It's a lead pool of about 20,000 people. She makes £2 million a month.
That's crazy.
So, like, and she's like legit, like £2 million on a 20,000 person lead pool. She just dominates market share. So that's also something to be considered. It's like, can you just better serve those individuals? Are you going to industry events right now? Are there industry events? If there aren't, can you start an industry event? Are there ways just for you to get into the minds of these people more? So like 50,000 is still a lot of people.
Okay, you mean like events, like networking events and stuff like that?
Yeah, what's your service's promise?
So basically, because insurance agents are so used to like buying leads, like buying a package of like 15 leads for like $50 a lead, the pub.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually help them build infrastructure to have the acquisition in-house. So the funnel and everything like that. So to people that are not really educated in digital marketing. So yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, so I would have yes. I mean, number one, networking events, definitely. If there are not many people, I imagine there are not many people doing what you do, and therefore it's very easy to get speaking positions at these kind of events. So get a speaking position. When you speak on a stage, it doesn't matter who you are, the authority like transfer is just mental. Like people just eat out of the palm of your hand. So I would definitely be looking at events. And if there aren't events, host your own events. Host a lead generation event. Host a client acquisition event for insurance agents. Like in person is a way to tap into, and I'm just saying that because this is what Sally does. Sally hosts her own conference every year called Agent Rainmaker, and she gets hundreds, if not thousands, hundreds, realistically upper hundreds of letting agents there. It's her main lead flow. Just every year they come, they get absorbed by it. They're like, wow, I've learned so much. I want to buy from these guys. And she has a series of different products that guide them through the process. She has letting agents that, by the way, the average revenue of a letting agent in the UK, like average revenue is 100K a year. She has letting agents buying a 35K mastermind. Like, and so it's all about brand and like all about like the result. Like, I mean, but she gets incredible results off the back of it. I think like a mastermind guarantees 100K revenue in 6 months or something crazy. So, but yeah, maybe there's something to consider. Like if you can, like outreach isn't going to serve you well enough. Ads is not going to serve you well enough. You need to get in front of these people if it's a small market.
So that's my question then, right? Is it not maybe a smarter game to play to just go international and solve the problem like that to have a bigger TAM? Or like, I'm not just complicating my life by trying to do all of that stuff. You know, even if it will be, because even if it's a great option, maybe it will just be easier to end to the end goal of scaling to doing more international, right?
Well, there's a reason why you haven't done it so far. You know, like each path has got friction. Each path has each path. Like I would argue that. I mean, I would argue that it's just as easy to set up an event and promote that and go for that, or go to at least test out going to some events, than it is to penetrate a brand new market. You know, I mean, sure, like probably path of least resistance is France. Test out France, see how that goes. If it doesn't work out in France the way you want it to, then come back to the event thing. But if it doesn't work out in France, the likelihood of it working out in other countries is very slim. But the reality is you can make it work in any, as long as you put your mind to something for a long enough time, then you're going to be able to do a good job, right? But it probably make path of least resistance is France, like for sure. But I just wanted to build context, like, and contrast to that the 50K leads thing isn't the reason why you're not scaling. There is more you could be doing to that existing lead pool. And the reason you're not is just because you're just a stranger on the other end of an ad to these people. So you need to be known to them.
Okay, I understand. So you will do that first and then maybe then go international. And that's what I'm understanding.
Yeah, do France. If France works, go international. If not, you've still got enough abundance of opportunity with what's right in front of you.
Gotcha.
Cool, man. Especially in professional services, because no one likes working with professional services. So like, you've got more opportunity there. Like if you were saying 50,000 gyms, I'm like, nah. Like there's probably a lot of people trying to go for those. But like insurance, like you've probably got a lot of opportunity there. And yeah, few competitors. Okay.
I love it. Hey, let's
Thank
do
you
this
so
last
much,
one.
by the way.
Let's do this last question. We could wrap up because I actually really like this one. It's a good one to finish off on. If you could go back to day one, is there anything that you would do differently in today's market? Let's emphasize on that. In today's competitive landscape, if you could go back, is there anything you would do different?
Oh, it's such a difficult question. There's a 1,000 ways of answering this question, and so on. The thing that came to mind was if I was to start from scratch now, I would probably create a lead magnet that provided more value than the majority of my competitors' paid products, and then I would upsell them onto something completely polarizing to that. So I would come in, I would hijack the market by offering what everyone else is offering for free, and then cross sell to something else.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I love it.
Cool.
Dude, I think I could speak for absolutely everyone here. We appreciate you. If you guys found value in this, drop your ones in the chats for your guy. Jordan, man, thank you so much, brother. I will ping you on Instagram to hopefully remind you about some sheets. Everyone here probably has like a nightmare because the last guy who said he was going to give us sheets, he ghosted us.
Oh, I promise you will get that sheet from me.
You heard it from him.
I promise you will get it from me.
Dude, last night I got bombarded.
Not that guy.
For 4 weeks, bro. They're like, Ken, you got the sheets? You got the sheets? I'm like,
we host masterclasses and people do that to us. They're like, I'll give you the thing. And it's like, then they come off and they're like, oh, that is quite valuable. Do I really want to give that? I promise you guys, you will get that sheet. So yeah, I'm a man of my word.
You're the bomb. Thank you so much. Cool. Dude. We appreciate you.
Pleasure.
Let's get it, guys. Let's get back to work. Love y'all. Later.
See you later.
Peace.